Usability testing is a big part of the product design process. But what if you're new to usability testing and you don't understand the benefits of unmoderated testing to moderating testing? What's the difference between the both of them? That's okay, we've all been there at some point in our career. And within this video, we will outline the differences of moderated and unmoderated usability testing and the benefits of both. And the cons, either one. The difference between them is a moderated usability test. A moderator is a part of the test, and an unmoderated test, a moderator is not part of the test. Now, what do I mean by moderator? So we'll have a person over here who is taking part in the test, and we also have the moderator, who would be the one who will oversee the test and watch somebody go through the test as they're doing it. Now we got that out of the way, what's the pros and cons of each? The pros of a moderated test, you're able to ask questions during the test. So if you see something within the behavior that you want to elaborate more on, then you can deep dive more into that conversation. You're also able to ease your participants' feelings towards the test. More often than not, participants feel like that they are personally being tested. They start apologizing for making mistakes. If you're a part of that test and you're a moderator, you're able to ease the participant and tell them that it's not their ability, it's not they are doing something wrong, the product is failing them if we can find issues within the product. You're also able to improvise as part of the test. Not everyone understands questions in a certain format, and you may need to adjust certain questions for certain participants. Now, this doesn't mean that you change the task completely. You're just able to relay the question to the participant in a clear format if they don't understand. You also get first-hand experience and see exactly what they're struggling with. And you're also even able to interact with their emotions and their frustrations. And you can actually sit there and view this as part of their experience. Now, the cons of doing moderated testing is that it takes a lot of planning and preparation in order to get this up and running. You have to spend time finding participants, you have to spend time writing scripts, you have to spend time even setting up these type of tests, and then you having to be present for this test. It really does take a toll on your productivity because it is quite time consuming and you get relatively tired by doing it. But, that is just part of the process, so productivity may also lack a little bit. You also need to document and analyze the findings, so these processes take a little bit longer to achieve. And again, if you have 20 hours worth of footage and maybe you need to go back through the videos and check certain things, put into a presentation, it really is a time-consuming process. It's also an expensive process. The time it takes for a UX designer or researcher to conduct these tests. It also takes into account the time it takes to set up the prototypes, prepping for the tests or writing the scripts and things like that. But then you also have to pay those participants for taking part. So what's the advantages of an unmoderated test? Well, it is cost effective because participants test themselves. So the only part you're paying for is the setup fees, somebody's time to write the scripts, and somebody's time to set up the prototypes and to set up the tests. Another great benefit is participants can take this test whenever they want. You could reach out to more people across the world, depending what time is convenient for them. Again, like I said, you don't need to be present for these type of tests. Usually when you're using a third party, after the tests are complete, it sometimes generates you a report. And that becomes really cost effective when you're writing a report for stakeholders and clients a little bit later on. The cons of this is you can't intervene as part of the test. You can see somebody struggling to understand what the task is. You can't intervene and explain the task in a little bit more of a understandable format. There's a little bit more prep time involved in this. Again, like I said, you have to write a detailed script which gets uploaded to a third party. This is a little bit more prep time, but you kind of make that time back because you don't have to be present for the actual test. Another negative to this is the software to use on moderated testing can actually be quite expensive. Sometimes large organizations will have access to a type of third-party software which they pay on a subscription basis, mean that you can do tests more often, but if you don't work for a large organization who pays for these type of tools, then the cost of doing this can be relatively expensive. So depending on which type of process is best for you, whether it's unmoderated or moderated user testing, the point of testing is that it needs to be part of the process as much as possible. Personally, I'm a huge fan of moderated testing, and that's because I can intervene whenever possible when people don't understand the task at hand. And I genuinely like being there and seeing things from an empathy point of view. I can really see the frustrations that my participants are going through, and that gives me a detailed explanation of what I need to do to improve the product for these users. So personally, I'm a moderated person, but I have used unmoderated testing in the past, and it is quite beneficial when you just want to get quick feedback. If you have any questions, then please feel free to leave them in the comments below. If you like this video, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I try and make as much videos as possible about UX and UI and product design and anything in that type of section of the internet. If you do like this video, then please give it a like. I would be very, very grateful. If you're looking for a UX mentor, I do offer one-on-one mentoring sessions over on Superpeer. So if that's something you're interested in, again, there's a link in the description below. And I've recently set up a newsletter where I will be sending out stuff about UX and UI and product design, sometimes free resources, sometimes discount codes. More often than not is my opinions on UX and the UX industry. So yeah, if that's something you're interested in, then there's a link in the description below. And that's it. Hope you have a lovely day, week, whatever it is, weekend. And yeah, see you on the next one. Bye.